Now this is modern day field corn. And this is an heirloom corn. More specifically, this is Jimmy Red heirloom corn. We've got 8.4 acres of Jimmy Red corn that we're growing for a seed crop, and we're having some issues in here. I want to draw out the differences between modern day field corn and heirloom corns and tips on how you grow them. Now these modern day varieties are designed to be workhorses and they produce a lot of corn. This cornfield you see right here will produce at least 300 bushels to the acre. A good strong stalk puts a big ear on there. Plant population is thick. As you can see here, on average, these things are planted about 4 inches apart. These newer varieties are designed so that you have irrigation, you have all the fertility you need, but main thing is they're really productive. Because in today's environment, corn farmers have to produce to offset the amount of input costs that they have. And these modern varieties do just that. They produce extremely well, but they take a lot of care. They take a lot of fertility, they take a lot of water when they need it, and if you give that to them, you're going to produce a lot of corn. This corn here has not stressed any by design. These varieties are not designed for stress. Plus, this cornfield here has had at least 225 units of nitrogen per acre. Had a lot of fertility because it's designed to have that much fertility to move in to produce a lot here. So this is what we call a perfect corn crop, right? It takes all we can give it and it produces a lot. What it's not good at is stress. But the farmer, knowing that when he plants it, he never lets his corn stress because there's a pivot here, puts water out there every time it needs it, and it has all the fertility it would ever need, so it pretty much lives the perfect life. Well, of all people that made a boo-boo, it was us trying to grow this Jimmy Red corn. Now, I've told you in the past what a fascination I have with heirloom corns. I just absolutely love them. Heirloom corn, by definition, has to be a variety that was documented before somewhere around 1938, somewhere around the end of World War II, to be classified as a true heirloom. And we know Jimmy Red is. Heirloom corns in general are really drought resistant and theoretically easy to grow because they don't take a lot of care. They are used to having things a little on the rough side, dry weather, used to dealing with stress to be productive. Unlike our modern day field corns that are not. They're designed to have everything they need, but they're designed to produce a lot. So when we planted this Jimmy Red corn, we knew we couldn't plant it as thick as you do these modern day varieties. So we moved our plant spacing from what 4 inches is on modern day field corn to about 12 inches apart here to try to give it a little more room. So our plant density or our seed density was a lot less on the heirloom versus the modern day hybrids. And just being human, trying to get all we can out of a crop, we decided when we grow this Jimmy Red corn, we was going to give it everything it needs to try to get as much out of it, much production out of it as possible. Partially for financial reasons and partially just being able to brag about we produce so much corn. So we planted this corn here on a field that had pivots, got automated irrigation, plus it's good land here. And here's the thing, we treated it just like that modern day hybrid so that it wouldn't need anything, right? So it's going to produce as much as possible. We did know it needed a little more room to grow, and we accounted for that, but said, well, we're going to make a good crop because we're going to give it everything it needs. Well, we noticed about halfway through this crop on this Jimmy Red corn, we started having an issue, and that issue was lodging. That is a common term used in grain production growing corn, and that is where your corn starts leaning over sideways and growing sideways, as you see right here. This condition is called lodging. You can Google it. A lot of universities and other places have information on lodging out there. It is a problem growing corn. Now, with most lodging issues right there, the universities or the articles you will read online will go back and say that's caused by maybe a fungus or maybe caused by some other issue. When we started, or stress, so we started seeing this lodging here, we started questioning our growing practices, and we said, look here, did the corn stress at any given time? Was there any time during that growing period that this corn stressed that caused this issue of lodging? And we knew it didn't. We knew it had everything it needed and more to produce a wonderful crop. But here's where our mistake was, and this is partially my fault because I should have knew better. I've told you in the past how this corn here will take dry weather and it's easy to grow. What happened is we gave this corn too much. I talked to a guy that's been growing this for 4 years and he's had this problem before, and he explained to me how you overcome this issue of lodging. Well, really what you have to do is you have to grow the corn like it's naturally being grown. You have to grow these heirloom corns just like you would dry land corn and not irrigated corn, because what happened is we gave this corn everything it needed and it didn't grow a big enough stalk. Instead of thinking this corn didn't need to stress, it was the exact opposite. It needed to stress some to grow a healthier root system and a healthier stalk there. So he told me, he said, Greg, what you got to do is you got to grow this thing, you got to cut back on your fertilizer, you don't water it near as much. So that's exactly what happened here, and I knew it just as soon as he told me, because I knew that was the characteristics of these field corns. They are easy to grow and they are extremely drought resistant and they are forgiving on fertility, unlike our newer hybrids out there. So unlike what we normally think, we have got to cut back. We have to understand these older varieties, man, they just used to growing in these harsh conditions where they don't have irrigation and they don't have all that fertility, and we got to grow them slower and we got to grow them different. Now we're going to continue to grow our corn under irrigation because we're going to need that as an insurance policy if we turn off and have a terrible dry year. But we're going to stress these plants when they're lower to the ground and when they're in the early stage, because we want to grow a deeper root system and a bigger stalk. We will continue to use the irrigation systems when we get into what we call the milking stage and we start putting on that ear there, because that is an important time to fill out that right there. But we're not going to use it near like we did this year, and we're going to cut that fertility back from 225 units per acre to 175, and I'm pretty sure that will solve our issue and help us grow this good heirloom corn the way it was meant to be grown.